Hey, everybody. So glad you're back with us on Hollywood Live. It's 2025, and we got lots of great stuff for you as we celebrate Black history. My guest today is an actor, producer, director, and is the artistic and producing director of the Ebony Repertory Theater here in Los Angeles, our only African American professional theater company. And of course, you've seen him everywhere on Waiting to Exhale, Grey's Anatomy, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Seinfeld. I could go on and on. Of course, I'm talking about the inimitable Wren T. Brown. Wren, welcome to Hollywood Live. How are you?
Tanya Hart, I'm doing well. I'm so pleased and honored to be with you. It is such a joy to be with you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Just so you know, today's my birthday too. You can always put that in.
Happy birthday as well. May you have many glorious returns of this day.
Thank you. In a few more years too. Who's counting at this point?
Yes,
I'm the same age every year, so it doesn't matter. Uh,
absolutely.
Brand, we have to add author now to your illustrious resume. The Family Business. It's a new
Yes.
book out. I've seen some of the galleys. It is absolutely amazing. Your family's been in the entertainment business for over 100 years. Congratulations.
Thank you very, very much. Over 100 years. My great grandfather, Willis Handy Young, referred to by the family as Papa Young, was born in 1872 in Thibodaux, Louisiana, and he began his career as a musician. He was a part of many of the great brass bands around Louisiana. He was a professor of music, an arranger, and a composer, and that's what he had to give to his children. His first son, Lester Young, his daughter, Irma Young, and my beloved grandfather, Lee Young Sr., was his last child.
Wow. And they were all in the business, and your grandma, I mean, there are just so many. So we could just, give me a little bit of what it is. What was it about the family that just, first of all, everybody was obviously talented. Let's
Yes.
just start with that. I guess it came from him. Where did all this talent come from? And to last in this business is no joke. Most of us can't do it beyond a generation, but you're now 4 or 5 generations into this. How did that happen?
Well, my great grandfather, he began this journey as an artist and he valued what he did. He valued the art. And so he gave it to his children because he felt that music was a universal language, which it is certainly, and that it would allow his children access to the world that they deserved. And he was a stickler about comportment and integrity and dignity, and what it meant to be a person of principle and to have loyalty. And so he inculcated all of those values into his children, and they took up with it. So my grandfather, his son, Lee Young Sr., he became the first Black staff musician in the history of Hollywood, Columbia Pictures 1946. He was for 25 years the drummer and musical director for Nat King Cole. He recorded his first recording in December of 1937 with Fats Waller at the famous Door here in Hollywood. He was the drummer for Ethel Waters. So that was my maternal grandfather. My maternal grandmother, Ruth Gibbons, born in Los Angeles in 1911, she was a cotton club dancer and a torch singer and had a career along the Great Central Avenue and on many of the backlots of the great Hollywood studios. My father's parents, my father's father was the fifth Black actor in Screen Actors Guild, born in 1900 in Memphis, Tennessee. My father's mother, born in 1903 in Mobile, Alabama, was a cotton club dancer, and she danced with Irving C. Miller and his brown skin models. And then my father made his stage debut. He was born in New York in October of 1932, and in 1936 he made his debut on stage with the illustrious Cab Calloway at the Alhambra Theater, and then began a career in Los Angeles as a child actor, eventuating himself to a career as a jazz trumpeter. So those are the generations that come before me.
Which is just, and then there's you
Yes.
who picked up that baton and you have been running with it ever since. But to tell your history like this, what did it mean to you and what did you learn about your family that you didn't already know?
Well, what I learned about my family that I really didn't know, but I kind of presumed, but I learned through the search and the research of their archives, is that this industry, being artists, was an honorable profession. All of them felt that it was an honorable profession, and that's not always the case. And I think that we have been able to run the race across generations now because of that sense of endeavoring in an honorable profession, not something that is beneath you, something that is very special. And Tanya, we know the power of images, and images travel around the world quickly now, particularly with the internet. And
Mhm.
our image has been historically in film, television, in theater, and in poster art. Our film has been devastated through the years. And I firmly believe that each people should tell its own story. And I've been honored to be a repository and to have my grandparents and my great grandfather in my bloodstream, ostensibly guiding me along the way of my 43 years.
You really have. And people probably, unless you've been to Los Angeles and you've been to the Ebony Repertory Theater, you have no idea how important Wren Brown is to this community and to the world. The things you have done over there are just amazing and outstanding. But give people an idea of some of the productions that you have staged and pulled off there and really done it really well, I have to ask, say.
Oh, thank you so much. You know, Tanya, we inaugurated ourselves with August Wilson's Two Trains Running. And at the time, the highest award in Los Angeles was the Ovation Award. And this was our first production. And we won the Ovation Award for Best Production Large Theater. I mean, that's a category that was in competition, if you will, with the Amundsen Theater, the Mark Taper Forum, the Pasadena Playhouse, the Geffen Playhouse. We inaugurated ourselves right on Washington Boulevard with that celebrated production starring Glenn Turman and now the late Roger Robinson, directed by the late Israel Hicks. We then did Crowns. We did Crowns with the late Paula Kelly, starring as the grandmother. We went on to do an award-winning production of The Gospel at Colonus, the wonderful work that really launched the contemporary stage career of Morgan Freeman. But we also had Felicia Rashad make her Los Angeles directorial debut with our production, our celebrated production, I might add, of A Raisin in the Sun. So we've been so fortunate to do Five Guys named Mo, Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill about the life of Billie Holiday, Ain't Misbehaving, and other things. The background that you see, the virtual background, is our set of Fraternity, the exquisite play written by my beloved Jeff Stetson. So that's just a sampling. And we also present and produce music, dance, and lecture as well.
Well, and like I said, I've seen most of those and they have been just outstanding. The production, the set design, the cast, of course. I mean, it's all beyond, it's A-list plus over there, just so everybody knows. So
Thank you.
congratulations to you. We have a new regime, and I'm not even calling them the government, I'm calling them the regime in place that has been trying very hard to erase history, not just Black history. They're trying to erase American history in many instances. And so, what you're doing with the family business is more than important at this point because it's keeping our story, our history alive. But what should we do to be combating this, this race against, getting rid of our history? Because they're really trying.
Tanya, I think it is my hope that the family business can inspire those who see it and read it to be inspired to research and to search for their own history, to make sure that their internal story is told well, that things we think that things are very small in life and they're meaningless, but there are a lot of small things that are vitally important to our history and to our narrative and the telling of our story. So I'm hopeful that it inspires in a very special way the respect and the value of history and to ensure that we preserve our own and tell our stories wherever we can, particularly within our families. Tell the coming generations, the grandchildren and the great grandchildren, about what their journey has been. I think it's vitally important. I think we're at a time where our collective community around this country, we need to invest in ourselves like never before. I
Yeah.
think that we need to foreclose on a lot of the socializing and we need to absolutely lean into the institution building in our own communities.
Excellent point. And I have to ask you because a lot of times in African American history and Black families, they have not told stories. Some of us do. We have had these stories passed down. Was there a particular way that your family, other than the fact that you've got all these great photos of everybody working with everybody that created this business, but was there a way that people actually would it be at holidays when you'd sit around the table and talk about this, or how did these stories come to you?
You know, it for me was any and every day. I had parents and grandparents who were willing to share, And I expressed a genuine interest. I was not a dilettante. I was not a dabbler in that interest. I was deeply interested. I was personally interested. And they had every willingness to give me everything they could share. And it has made my life so much better and enriched me. And I'm hopeful that through what I have been, the repository of from my grandparents and my parents, that I've been able to share it in my work as a director, as an actor, as a producer. And my definition of producer is the producing of opportunity, and in my doing that, I'm hopeful that those who've touched me have been able to touch others in that way as well.
Are you having, any time these days to act at all? Because I know that that theater that you run over there is definitely that's a full-time job.
It
But,
is.
are we going to be seeing you soon in something coming up?
Well, recently I've been recurring on the Orville, the wonderful Seth MacFarlane show. I absolutely love doing that. But as with any actor, I love and would love to receive any of these offers that could come forth. Yes, so I'm looking forward to not only acting on the stage, but on the small screen, the big screen, and taking this narrative disposition into a voiceover booth. Yes, absolutely.
Which you have done quite well over the years as well. Do we hear your voice a lot in some of these animated series and a variety of things, and people may not know it's Ren T. Brown, but it is.
Yes, yes.
So the family business is just it's a beautiful. I don't have my copy yet. I was trying to get it before this interview, but I'm sure I will be able to get a copy. I know
You
you're going
will.
to be doing several book signings here in Los Angeles during the holiday, well, during Black History Month. I call it a holiday month.
Yes.
During Black History Month, our holiday month, you will be doing several book signings. But where can people who are not in town, where can they acquire the family business?
On the website, thefamilybusinessbook.com. Thefamilybusinessbook.com is where it's able to be purchased right now. But on February 15th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, where the Ebony Repertory Theater is the resident company and operator, that will be the book launch. That book conversation and signing will be moderated by the Tony Award winning two-time Oscar nominee Leslie Odom Jr. So we're so looking forward to February 15th. And then on February 23rd, at the Hollywood Heritage Museum, directly across the street from the Hollywood Bowl. It's called affectionately The Barn, and that's where the first film was made in Hollywood, 1913, The Squaw Man. And so we're going to be there on Sunday, February 23rd from noon to 3 p.m.
Wow, I cannot wait. I'm going to come see Leslie Odom because
Yes,
I just think he's all that in a bag of chips. As
I do as well.
Ren, thank you so much for all you do and all you're going to do because you're just really getting started, honey. So there you
Well,
go.
Tanya, allow me to say this, that you've been a friend with your beloved husband Phil for many, many years, but you are a profound inspiration to me. You have
Oh,
always been that. Your work is exemplary, but you're an exemplary human being. And I want you to know that I deeply appreciate you and your family and all the work that you have done walking through the tall grass to benefit others who have come after you. So I want to thank you here today.
oh, that just warms my heart. I don't want to tear up. But thank you, Ren. Coming from you, that's very, very special to me. So I will take that in. I will appreciate it and keep going with that. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. Oh,
Well,
you're quite
listen,
welcome.
we will see you soon and happy Black History Month to you. Uh, for anybody out there, some of the younger folks that, are trying to find their way and just what would you tell them about this business? Because clearly you've got 100 years behind you, so you know a little bit about it. What would you say about trying to get into the business today?
Know that this is a marathon. This is not a sprint, and that invest in yourself, bring a sense of self definition to this industry. Do not let this industry define you, but know that run the long distance race, run the marathon. And when you do that, there will be peaks and valleys, but at the end of the day, if you give yourself completely to what you're doing, you will find success. And that was my singular goal, to be an objective success in a subjective industry. So I encourage all the young people to invest in yourself, bring a sense of self definition, and be willing to run the long race.
There you go. 100 years plus, you know the story. Thank you, Wren T. Brown, again for all of your contributions. Everybody, check out The Family Business. It is a great, it's a beautiful book. It's a coffee table book, and it's one that people will stop and look at when they come into your home if you have this book. So I'm suggesting to everybody, go out there, get the book. If you're here in Los Angeles, if you can get here, please come for the book signings. Wren T. Brown, The Family Business. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much,
And
Tanya.
to our lovely audience out there, you've been hanging in here with us since 2017. That's when we started these podcasts. Okay. We were ahead of the game. And so we just appreciate all of you. So take care of yourself and somebody else. Love you much.